Good morning, everyone. This is Madera Rogers Henry with the Green Journey series, Black Pro Marketplace and Who's Magazine. We are excited to introduce to you one of our partners, our community partners, Brian from St. Roch's Market. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
You've got some cool things that you're doing in the community, and I have to tell you, we haven't seen a lot of each other of obvious reasons, but the one thing I have to tell you is that I acknowledge the shift that St. Roch has made over this year in embracing community. Because, we used to talk about people like, I ain't going to St. Roch's. You ain't gonna see me going to St. Roch. Now what's happening is there's a beautiful energy behind you providing all of the artists from the community and vendor space at no cost. So let's talk about that program and give me some inspiration about it from your own perspective, if you don't mind.
Well, sure. We've been hosting art markets in one form or another since last December, since the holiday season. And we had a very successful run of holiday art markets where we had a lot of local art vendors, makers come out to sell their goods and to join us out there on the patio. And it turned out to just be such a successful event that we decided we want to keep going with it. We did it monthly for several months, and now we do it every single Sunday, every week, rain or shine, with the exception of this weekend when the rain's going to be so severe that nobody is going outside, thanks to the upcoming hurricane. But otherwise, every Sunday, 11 to 7, we are out there with our art vendors. And like you said, it is free to participate. There is no tabling fee. You just have to provide your own table or other display for your merchandise. And everyone is welcome to join. So we've had a lot of great connections we've made in the community with artists and vendors that have joined us week after week, including some members of the local Mardi Gras Indian tribes that operate out of here in the St. Roch neighborhood. Big Chief has been out here with us a lot, and they sell a lot of art and jewelry that they make out of their Mardi Gras Indian costumes each year. As you probably know, they don't wear the same costumes every year. It's a brand new costume every year. So they're repurposing a lot of those costumes that they have from past years to turn into great art and pieces to sell out here at the market, which has been very exciting. We have a lot of other vendors that have been with us since the beginning, since December, but we also have a lot of new vendors every week. We keep the signups open and we welcome new people basically every weekend to come join us. So it's been a great program.
So what's the process someone has to do in order to become part of that experience? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, well, on our website, strochmarket.com, you'll find an application portal to apply to become a vendor, or you can just email me directly. It's brian@strochmarket.com, which is BRIAN.
That sounds pretty simple. And so do you have to be there a few minutes before you set up, or just show up when you show up? How is that?
Well, we start setting up an hour before the event, so from 10 a.m. As I mentioned, you have to bring your own table and things. So if you have a tent, you bring your own tent. We get you set up like that. We do have a few tents here at the market that we're able to provide for some folks that don't have their own tents when the weather gets especially hot. We've also got some other shaded areas we set up under the balcony across the street.
Right.
So there's a good variety. But yeah, we start setting up an hour beforehand. So if you have an involved setup process, you can come out as early as 10 for that 11 o'clock start time. But if you're a quick setup, you don't have to be here that early. You can come up right there 10 minutes beforehand and get started. And otherwise, we're out there enjoying it every weekend.
Well, I have to tell you, I want to kind of ease into talking about our projects and what we've been doing. I mean, because we've been partnering with each other for over a couple of years. We won't even imagine the fact that we're dealing with a time where we have COVID and our time, of course, is limited with each other. But with the Green Journey series, we were able to see a positive experience at St. Roch's, and that kind of fueled our partnership as we start to work on the Recycle Project 100 paper dresses that we hope to have at St. Roch's taking place April 22nd or 23rd, which is Earth Day of 2022. And so we've been planning this and talking it and bringing it up, and you have been really supportive as a partner, and I wanted to acknowledge that and just kind of say that, it's so important during this time that we support many of our culture bearers here in the New Orleans area. And one, most importantly, is making sure that we have the equity is there. There's a balance in the system that we're dealing with these days. How have you seen the impact with St. Roch's and in the new COVID area? What is that era? What does that look like now? Can you share a little light on that?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, it's been a real challenge. Everybody's been experiencing that challenge for about 18 months now. We were very fortunate that when the initial shutdowns hit last March, we were in a position to suspend the rent for our own vendors inside the market, so we could shut down and we could be comfortable that they would remain financially solvent throughout that whole period. And when we were able to reopen, when the city allowed businesses to come back open again, all but one of those vendors that was originally with us before the shutdown did come back and reopen. And since that time, we've had 3 other new vendors that have come in and opened, and we've had a graduation from our ranks as well with Charlie Pierre's Concept Free Thai, which opened up his full service restaurant on Basin Street very successfully.
That's right.
So the things that we do inside the market with our entrepreneur partners and with our vendors has been going full steam ahead in spite of COVID. And certainly it's a different environment now than it was before the pandemic. I mean, all across the whole industry, travel numbers are down, tourism is down, but the people of New Orleans have responded to that by coming out even stronger in support of their favorite local places. And all of our vendors have their own local followings. So we still have a lot of business that comes through the doors, just people coming to support their favorite vendors and support these business owners. And that's how people like Charlie were able to maintain and succeed even throughout these challenges and get out there. And that's what we're continuing to do with our current crop of vendors that we have in here.
Well, that is indeed the you know, I say this cautiously, that is indeed the blessing, because, you know, many people aren't experiencing, this has been a very hard experience on people mentally, emotionally, and financially for many people. So being able to know that the market is still able to sustain itself and change that image is really gratifying, because we notice that as of now, with you having this vibe with the market that's on every Saturday, it allows people to have this opportunity
every Sunday.
Every Sunday, thank you. Every Sunday, I stand corrected, on Sunday, being able to have this cool experience and know that there's still a connection to community and to the vendors. It's all kind of meshing in a very beautiful thing. So, but you are right now serving, you are honoring the protocol, the mask mandates. Give us a little update on what the market is doing right now with the mandates, what people should expect when they come to visit you.
That's absolutely correct. So, in a coincidence of timing, we actually closed for a week to do some renovations on the day that the new vaccine mandates started in the city. So we've just reopened this week, and we got to see a little preview as myself and others that work here went out to eat ourselves during that week and see how things were going for other places around town. But we do have our protocols in place for enforcing this mask and vaccine mandate. We've got a single point of entry to the building. We've got a desk set up where one of the members of the management team is stationed at all times to be checking vaccination status or recent testing status to comply with that city mandate. So visitors should expect to be directed through the front door of the market to come in and out. But once you're checked at that front door, things are pretty normal inside the market. You wear your mask to walk around. You can sit down at the table and feel free to take that mask off. The food will be brought out to you. And for those that don't have the proper documentation, either don't want to get the vaccine or aren't able to get it and can't get a current test, we have an online ordering platform. And right there at the front door, we've got a QR code set up so you could scan, go straight to the online order. You could place your order online and sit outside and somebody will bring that food right out to you. So we're still doing the best that we can to accommodate everyone, even when we unfortunately have to ask that they don't come inside right now because of the current rules.
That's right. So if they do have a negative, if they have the, if they've been tested, what is it, 3 days before?
It's within 72 hours, the negative test result.
They can,
within 72 hours, they can come inside. That's part of the mandate.
Your LA wallet, right?
The LA Wallet app is the best thing you can use. Honestly, it's really a really well-made app. It's really well developed, and it makes it as easy as could be.
Now, do you know that New Orleans, New York, San Francisco, and I think Los Angeles is considering it, but those are the cities currently right now who have the LA Wallet. And that's me not checking my notes in the last week, but we're one of 4 or 3.
Right. Those are the places that have the citywide requirements right now. But given the FDA approval that happened early last week, I would expect more cities to follow suit with that. And certainly more major employers and institutions are going to be following suit with that. So the public will become more and more used to it. Already after a week here in the city of New Orleans, we haven't really experienced anyone pushing back against the mandates. I mean, there are some heavy sighs when you ask someone to show their card, but everybody knows what they're expected to do now when they're going out to eat or when they're going out to any sort of institution in the city right now.
All right, so last final thing. What advice would you have to a business trying to sustain themselves in these days and times?
Well, that's a broad question. That's a tough one. I mean, in times like this, it's really all about your regular customer base. It's about staying connected with your regular customers, and it's about having a connection that makes those customers want to keep supporting you through thick and thin. We would not be here if we didn't have regular local customers that had supported us throughout this whole year. The St. Roch Market is certainly a tourist attraction here in town. We're a really well-known, nationally famous place. And so we get a lot of foot traffic from out of towners, but for 8 months last year, it was just us in the city of New Orleans, and we stayed in business throughout the shutdown. We stayed in business through takeout food for a lot of our vendors. We never fully shut down the operation. Even when dine-in was strictly disallowed, we still had cooks in the kitchen here making food for the chef's brigade and making food for carryout for our loyal customers who were following the vendors on Instagram to know what they were making and when they could pick up and all those things like that. So in terms of how a business survives these times of belt tightening, it's really just maintaining that connection with your core customer base and knowing who you're in the business for.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Brian. It's been a pleasure. And again, for those of you who are just joining in on the interview, I'm with Area Magazine, the Green Journey series, with Brian from St. Roch's Market. And we've been talking a wide range of things happening with St. Roch's, but the one important thing is if you're interested in being a local vendor, St. Roch's has an opportunity for you on Sundays, which is free of charge. So we look to be hoping you connect with St. Roch's Market, and it is simple as just going to strochsmarket.com and check them out and easily do it right there online. So Brian, thank you very much. And
thank you.
Interview. So hold on for a second.